During the Second World War, almost every great power used light armored reconnaissance as part of their armed forces. One of the biggest adopters was Great Britain, who employed a wide range of armored cars in nearly all theaters of the war. In War Thunder, however, they only have a small amount of what they used. The largest variety of British armored cars were armed with little more than some machine guns, but especially from the second half of the war onwards employed 6-pounder and 75mm guns. This means that they have a lot more anti-tank potential than most American armored cars. The first vehicles I have to go over with will be familiar to most tankers, the AEC Mark I and Mark III. The AEC Mark II is in-game already, though unavailable to most tankers. You can still test preview it to get an idea of its armor and speed capabilities, which aren't half bad. A solution to its inaccessibility would be to add its two cousins. These two armored cars were armed with a 2-pounder gun and 75mm QF, respectively. This should make it easy to imagine where and how they'd perform in-game. I imagine they could go in rank 1 and 2. Another well-rounded armored car is the Coventry. It was originally ordered as a replacement for the aging Daimler armored car, but was eventually cancelled in favor of simply producing more Daimlers. It resembles the Daimler, but is a bit beefier and slightly more mobile. The Mark I comes equipped with a 2-pounder, and the Mark II comes with the standard British 75mm QF gun. The last British-made armored car is the Humber Mark IV. While it outwardly resembles other British armored cars, this was equipped with an American 37mm gun. Similar in performance to the 2-pounder, but a unique addition nonetheless. This necessitated that the turret be redesigned to accommodate the bigger gun. There is an experimental Australian heavy armored car, known as the Rhino. Early in the war, Britain was unable to provide the Commonwealth nations with sufficient fighting vehicles, and so most attempted to make their own in one way or another. For the Australians, this meant purchasing the chassis of a Canadian Fox armored car, adding an additional 30mm plate on the front, and fabricating a new turret that looked similar to the Crusader, but had 30mm plates and was armed with a 2-pounder gun. This would make it somewhat slow, but more heavily armored than a standard armored car. Finally, the British did use a large amount of the T-17E1 Staghound as part of their armed forces, far more than any other US export model. In British service, these would be the Staghound Mark I and Mark III. The Staghound Mark I would be a copy of the American one, performing similarly to the existing Staghound AA, but armed with a 37mm gun. Unique to Britain would be the Staghound Mark III, using the same chassis, but with its turret replaced by a Crusader Mark III's. Further developments suggest it was also replaced with the AEC Mark III's turret, improving the firepower even further. This would likely have been known as the Staghound Mark IV, however no formal name seems to exist. Those are some of the most suitable candidates for British armored cars. With all the love that South Africa has been getting recently, it would be nice to revisit some domestic British designs. Let me know if there are any British or Commonwealth designs I missed in the comments. Next time, I'll be going over the missing German armored cars. Thank you.